Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly. Email tmosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing a watch that launched in 2022 based on a platform that came out in 2016. 2016 saw the arrival of the Patek Philippe 5930 World Time Chronograph, while 2022 saw the arrival of the steel rose opaline dial 5935A-001. So this is the 5935A in steel. The dial's a little bit different than the old 5930 in that all of it's given over to color rather than just the center. And of course the watch is dimensionally very similar, 41 millimeters in diameter. It's bigger, although close to the original. So the original would have been just under 40 millimeters. 41 here, 13 millimeters thick, 49.8 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, also close to but bigger than the original. 21 millimeters the spacing between the lugs. Taking a quick look, you can see the watch is substantial on my wrist. Being almost 50 millimeters lug to lug, it's broad, so I'm going to recommend it for a wrist 16 centimeters circumference or larger. The original 5930 will wear on a wrist of 15 centimeters circumference or larger. So you can see it's not terribly thick, nor is it particularly thin, but at 13 millimeters with a sloped case flank, it'll fit easily enough underneath the cuff. It is, after all, a sporty dress watch, but a dress watch nonetheless. We have an interesting light brown, almost sand-colored Patek Philippe calfskin leather strap with a contrasting stitch. There's a folded edge. You can see on the bottom we have a calfskin inlay. It's a brand new Patek Philippe hand-sewn strap. No crimping, no gouging. The buckle matches the case. It too has been crafted from stainless steel with a Calatrava cross logo externally. The case has become larger than the old 5930, but the shape is the same with its distinctive conical double-flanged bezel and then the stepped-out lug profiles that are visually distinct from the case. We have a Patek Philippe Calatrava cross on the crown and then rounded rectangular vintage-inspired little chronograph pushers. And by the way, Flyback chronograph here, so you can reset and restart without first stopping. You'll also note that there's a little bit of a satination on the upper and lower faces of the chronograph pushers, as well as the ends of the pushers. So even those little components beautifully detailed. Now you can see there are two flanges on the bezel. There's this brief vertical kick before the conical profile, and then another flange before the beveled and chamfered sapphire that sits over what Patek Philippe describes as rose opaline outboard, so a very soft matte rose color, and then at the center what they describe as a carbon pattern. I'm pretty sure that when you look at carbon through an electron microscope, it doesn't look like this. This is somewhat similar to certain weaves of carbon fiber, but it's a cross-hatching. That's what we'll call it. It looks good. It's been around years before carbon fiber. Cross-hatching is a very traditional guilloche and a beautiful one. So we'll go with Patek's terminology to make them feel good, but it's not carbon in any way. Taking a quick look, it is a world time system as devised by Louis Coutier in the 1930s. And the way this works is we've got 24 reference cities representing the 24 principal time zones. The one that represents the city where you are currently located is at 12, so New York. I'm in Philadelphia. New York is my reference. And let's say we just want to explain how this thing works. Well, you read your local time, New York time, at center. Now we have this counterclockwise rotating 24-hour chapter ring in silver and black. Black, that's the hours where it's approximately dark, and then silver, the hours where it's approximately light. And you can see there are those two symmetrical semicircles. Now, what happens is you can read the number adjacent to the city, and then you read your minute at center. So I can see in Los Angeles, it's 1 in the morning. I can see that it's noon in Moscow. I can see that it is 3 in the afternoon in Dhaka. And I know that it's 4 a.m. in New York, because I can see this 4 adjacent to it. If it were 4 in the afternoon, of course, that would be 1600. And you can see it's 1600 in Bangkok. It's 4 in the afternoon there, when it's 4 in the morning in New York. Once again, Flyback. We can reset and restart the chrono without first stopping. That's great for timing events that occur in rapid succession. We have applique gold indices and hands. Take a quick look. There is some lume. Patek Philippe describes this dial furniture as charcoal gray. Now turning it all over. By the way, I'll show you how this works. When you change a reference today, let's say I want to go to the Azores, the watch does the math for you. So both the 24-hour reference ring and the local time will make changes. And then if you want to make changes without jumping everything in sync, you just want to change the time, you do that through the crown. That's how that works. Now, on the reverse side, we have caliber 28.520, and though it is not a hacking seconds watch, what you can do is, because of the vertical clutch, you can leave the chronograph running full time, set the time, immediately activate the flyback, and just leave the chronograph seconds running as the companion to your minutes and hours. And you can use this effectively as a zero reset second system. Also, because the caliber uses a column wheel to cycle through functions, it's got a really crisp, tactile, and pleasing feel and sound. It's an absolute pleasure to operate this chronograph, one of the sharpest I've encountered. It is a unidirectional automatic winder with ceramic rotor bearings for increased efficiency, free sprung balance, 6-position adjusted, anti-magnetic silicone hairspring. This is the Gyromax style free sprung balance that Patek invented in the middle of the 20th century. A 38 joule movement, 55-hour power reserve, the 4 Hz beat rate. When you combine the Patek Philippe seal, the silicone hairspring, the 6-position adjustment, and the Gyromax balance, you get a watch that's guaranteed to run no worse than -3 + 2 seconds per day from the factory. You can see the indexing system for cycling the chronograph, all this water resistant down to 30 meters, and you can see that it's nicely decorated. It's a combination of mechanical and manual finish, but I would say compared to something like a Journe, a JLC, or an AP, which also combines manual and mechanical finish, this packs a lot more manual finish as a percentage of total finishing and total work performed relative to those other brands. So reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.